What is up, Ada Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central. My name is Fareed. As a part of today's video, I want to highlight one of the three founding entities of Cardano and their vision when it comes to the roadmap and what they want to see us moving towards as a part of the new year, which of course is going to be 2024. If it's your first time hearing about the three founding entities, let's quickly just break down what each of them are actually contributing to. So first and foremost, we've got the Cardano Foundation, which is labeled as an independent Swiss-based nonprofit organization tasked with advancing the public digital infrastructure of Cardano and working to anchor it as a utility for financial and social systems. This is going to be headed by Frederick Gagard, who I believe is their key member. I don't want to say CEO. I have to double check his title, but he has been the face at some of the recent events for the Cardano Foundation. Moving over, we've got Emergo, who is going to be the main driver of today's conversation with their recent post on X. So Emergo, unlike the Cardano Foundation, is going to be a private entity driving the adoption of Cardano through solution building, venture investments, education, and media. I recently had Sebastian Ziliakis from the Emergo team. I believe he's part of their marketing group to break down everything surrounding the Cardano spot, which is aiming to be a one-stop shop for everything related to Cardano content. So everything breaking down the latest news, highlights, very similar to what I plan on doing here with respect to Dapp Central. I've also had Amar Singh on the channel as well. We actually got to meet and hang out at the Cardano Summit, as well as at the Rare Evo conference, which took place in Colorado. And he actually introduced me to the IntersectMBO, which actually will be highlighted as a part of the direction in which the Emergo team sees Cardano going, which is towards a fully decentralized platform with the entire community driving all the decisions behind everything developed on Cardano. Now, that is just two of the platforms that the Emergo team is behind. There's additional products, which I'm going to jump into in just a minute. Now, last but not least, we've got Input Output, which is probably the most well-known of the three founding entities. And they're going to be a research and development company committed to using peer-to-peer innovations of blockchain to build accessible financial services for all. Now, a lot of people in this space are already familiar with Charles Hoskinson. He's actually going to be the co-founder, or I believe the CEO in tandem with Jeremy Woods for IOG. So now that we understand the three founding entities or the pioneering entities of Cardano, let's take a closer look at exactly what Emergo is currently managing. So if I get myself out of the way here, they're currently going to be managing the USDA stablecoin. I've touched on this in prior updates, but this is actually currently on pause given the fact that there's just been regulatory uncertainty within the United States. So USDA is aiming to be a fiat-backed stablecoin, very similar to what we're going to be seeing very soon with USDM. We've also got the Yoroi Wallet, which is going to be one of the first light wallets built on Cardano, and they're actually going to be talking about where they see that going as well in 2024. We've got Nodo and the Cardano spot, as well as the Anzins platform. So again, just wanted to briefly introduce you guys to Emergo and some of their educational content. I did also have Narendra on the channel not too long ago breaking down everything that the Emergo Academy has to offer in terms of courses and education. So moving over into 2024, let's go ahead and just break down this thread. So 2023 has been a great year to build and develop on Cardano, and there's been so much to look forward to in the coming 2024. So Cardano's embraced and laid the foundation for sustainable community governance through SIP number 1694 and the launch of the Cardano-based member organization, aka the IntersectMBO. Again, check out my video with Amar Singh to get all the details surrounding that. In a nutshell, the IntersectMBO is going to be an organization run by the community for the community. So if you're interested and you want to go ahead and actually contribute to Cardano governance, then make sure to go ahead and sign up for the IntersectMBO, especially as things are finally beginning to warm up now with a recent on-chain poll in order to actually get a temp check, right, from the community as to how they want to see an MVP being deployed with respect to SIP number 1694. So jumping into the very first item here, they're going to be talking about the Chang Hardfork. So it states here The network, right, or this particular network event will mark the first step towards a minimum viable community run governance. It'll be implemented with the consent of the Cardano community via the consensus mechanism introduced with this particular hard fork. If you're not aware, right now, as it relates to the Cardano roadmap, we are in the Voltaire era, which is one of the last eras for Cardano. We've already gone through scaling and decentralization, and we're now focusing on governance. So Cardano is taking its time. However, this is not being done in a rushed way at all. We've seen tons of SIP number 1694 workshops taking place across the United States. Some, I believe, held in California, some in Dallas, and then most recently, we had some taking place in Philadelphia as well. So with this upcoming Chang Hardfork, it looks like we're going to be getting the MVP to at least kick off this governance era. Again, there's been a couple of on-chain votes that have already taken place to just kind of get a temperature check as to how the community feels and exactly what they should be focusing on when it comes to this particular MVP. So that's going to be the first thing to look forward to as a part of 2024. That is going to be the Chang Hardfork. Now, I'm going to be doing my own research here on the side to get a little bit more information surrounding what else we can expect to come out of the Chang Hardfork. And if you guys recall, the latest Hardfork to have come out was actually from the Vassal Hardfork. So that introduced the Plutus V2 upgrade, which basically made transaction building much simpler, much more lightweight, and much more user-friendly for the Cardano network. Moving over into the next item here, this is going to be the advancement into full Cardano community governance. So the Chang Hardfork introduces that MVP, or that minimum viable product, to at least get us started. And then what they see next coming down the pipes is going to be full Cardano governance, again, which is the completion of the Voltaire era. So the Cardano Constitution, which I believe is still being under works right now, or is still under development, should come out here towards the year of 2024. We're going to see additional workshops, a convention, and several additional voting events in the year of 2024. Now, I know that the Latin American community has been extremely vocal and kind of leading the pack when it comes to the Cardano Constitution. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that we're actually going to have it, or at least have some workshops taking place in Buenos Aires. And I think also the actual convention taking place in Buenos Aires as well. So shout out to the Latin American community here for continuing to keep the community updated and for just staying engaged when it comes to governance on Cardano. The next item here is going to be tokenization of assets, I should say, on Cardano. So the Cardano blockchain is a fast developing ecosystem of decentralized applications for DeFi, NFTs, and more that utilize tokens to exchange value for services. In Cardano, smart contracts are not necessarily required to issue tokens, thus making things simpler for brands and creators to enter Web3 using Cardano's technology as a stepping stone to the tokenization of real-world assets. This is one of the trends that I've mentioned in one of my prior videos, RWAs. One of the biggest projects right now on Cardano aiming to get a lot of the market share when it comes to RWAs is going to be none other than the Twin protocol. They're aiming to tokenize gold and additional other metals and commodities. But again, they're kicking things off with gold. So they've got their ISPO, which is actually about to end at the very end of this year. But they're just beginning, I should say, with an upcoming mint, right, for the first ever gold-backed NFT on Cardano. So RWAs, I think, will be a narrative, and platforms like Twin will be at the head of the pack once this really begins to pick up steam. In addition, we've also seen NMaker actually partner up, right, with Emergo at the Cardano Summit, which took place in November in Dubai. Now, why is this important? Well, NMaker, I think, is now responsible for minting over, I should say, 40 to 45, if not now 50% of all the NFTs right now on Cardano. So if you hold NFTs on Cardano, there's a high probability that those are actually minted utilizing NMaker. And so if NMaker is able to partner up with Emergo with this dream of tokenizing real world assets, this could be huge. And it's not if, they've actually already partnered up with NMaker. So I think at this point, it's just a matter of time before we begin to see additional companies being onboarded into Cardano, right? Big brand names that then want to actually tokenize their real world assets. And they're going to be leveraging, or Emergo is going to probably be introducing them to EndMaker in order to actually begin that minting process. So I think this is beneficial, obviously, to the entire Cardano community. It's also beneficial to Emergo, and then it's also very beneficial to EndMaker as well. Now, EndMaker did also partner up with a platform called Timons not too long ago to actually mint 20 NFTs representing real world assets or actual diamonds that were locked up in Europe. So if you hold or if you held one of these NFTs, that gave you the actual rights to go ahead and actually claim those real world assets. Now think even bigger picture in longer term, right? Imagine being able to tokenize deeds, tokenize other commodities, and then just being able to tokenize everyday items on the actual blockchain. Again, you definitely still need some sort of intermediary or some sort of third party to kind of act as a middleman to make sure that whatever's actually being tokenized can actually still be redeemed at any given point in time. But the idea, I think still holds a lot of weight. So that is going to be the next thing they're coming in from Emergo, which is going to be the focus on tokenizing of RWAs or real world assets. Next, we've got more third-party Dapp development on Cardano. So as it stands right now, we've got over 150 projects launched with over 1,300 builders. I typically cover these numbers in my Cardano Scoop videos, so not surprising to me at all. But I do want to be clear in stating the fact that a lot of those 1,300 projects are going to be NFT projects. What I would personally like to see more of are going to be infrastructure projects. For example, Oracle's building on Cardano. We've got quite a saturated DEX space, so I'm actually kind of okay with those now. But I would also like to see more lending and borrowing and just more projects providing utility outside of just the traditional NFT projects. So more projects, for example, like World Mobile, which have a real world impact trying to connect the unconnected and by spreading the internet throughout the entire world. I think projects like those tend to stand the test of time, again, because of the fact that they're actually providing some sort of real world use case and some sort of utility that may not necessarily be seen by the front end user. However, the technology in the back driving the project is all going to be blockchain based. Now, these developments, when it comes to third-party dApps, are facilitated by multiple programming languages for smart contract development on Cardano, such as Plutus, Marlowe, and now Icon. I think that moving forward as Cardano ages, we're going to see more emphasis on platforms like Marlowe, which is a drag and drop Lego style smart contract builder for people that don't have the ability to learn low level Plutus code. And then Icon is also an abstraction of Plutus code as well. So they're aiming to simplify smart contract development. We're seeing the MinSwap team building out their stable swaps in collaboration with Icon. We're seeing the MinSwap team also building out their LBE V2 to launch tokens utilizing Icon. We've seen the Sunday Swap team also leveraging Icon. We're also seeing the LendFi team, a lending and borrowing protocol, also beginning to shift over to use Icon. And so as more platforms come onto Cardano, there's going to be less people building utilizing Plutus V1, which is what we had access to prior to the Vassal Hardfork. Now, that said, it would be great to actually get the decommissioning or the deprecation of Plutus V1, but being that a lot of projects still utilize Plutus V1, we're going to have to give them a little bit of time to shift over, to Plutus V2. Now, as they do that, that actually also reduces the amount of load on Cardano, right? So imagine driving an older model car that spews out a ton more emissions than a new model car or an electric car, for example, like something like the Tesla, right? So a lot of the new projects coming along are able to utilize all the new technology, but some of the early builders that were still building in Plutus V1 are not as efficient as they could potentially be if they were to use something like Marlowe or Icon and some of these other low-level abstraction platforms that are now becoming mainstream. So I want to quickly highlight that there as well. Moving over, and we are getting closer to the end here, there's going to be a focus on interoperability. So Emergo is going to be eyeing more interoperability with other blockchain ecosystems that Cardano, given the fact that Cardano has a sidechain toolkit that is now open for developers to start building their sidechain solutions on. So we did see this released, I think it was towards the beginning of 2023, with the initial EVM compatible sidechain that was developed as a proof of concept. In addition to interoperability, which I definitely think is key, we also had the launch of OneChain into Cardano, right? Where OneChain is a decentralized bridging protocol, bridging out to Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tron, Avalanche, and multiple other networks, include Cardano as of late. So we now have DAI, USDT, and USDC all being bridged over from the OneChain platform directly into Cardano. But it's not a one-way street. This also gives exposure to Cardano to other ecosystems as well, where you can now wrap ADA and actually mint that on other networks in order to get exposure to Cardano. Now we've also got Go Maestro. This team did win the Battle of the Builders, as well as the hackathon during the year of 2023. And they're going to be run and founded by Marvin Burton, who's also a member of Genius Yield. Now their goal is to provide infrastructure services, very similar to kind of what Icon is doing. They're abstracting all of the hard work and making the adoption of Cardano infrastructure tooling and APIs and things of that nature accessible to the average person. So you don't have to be a full-blown developer in order to be able to take advantage and actually build something on Cardano utilizing Go Maestro. So they've actually built as a proof of concept their ISPO marketplace. They've also got the ability for you to build out things such as DEXs, even things such as NFT marketplaces, again, with little to no experience when it comes to development. So things like this make it easier to onboard more people into Cardano. And again, the goal here being interoperability. Now, last but not least, I've mentioned this before, but the partner chain or the sidechain model introduced with something like Midnight could also be a huge boost for Cardano in general. One of the biggest assets to Cardano is the fact that we have a fully decentralized network with over 3,000 stake pool operators. So in order to continue to provide value not only to Cardano but to other networks, we could potentially export some of that decentralized nature that we have within Cardano. So with something like the partner chain model, we could expect to see Cardano stake pool operators earning multiple tokens, for example, Dust being one of them. But if there's other services that also come into the ecosystem, right, which also get their backing or their security from Cardano SPOs, they then in return would actually pay some sort of reward to SPOs for the security that they're providing, or that they're receiving, I should say. So what that does is it introduces interoperability between Cardano and some of these services building out or connecting or utilizing this partner framework, while also giving rewards out to SPOs and delegators as well. So interoperability being one of the biggest things mentioned by Emergo, as well as by Charles Hoskinson during his Q&A, recent Q&As, as well as his chat in Dubai for the Cardano Summit. Now, the very last point I want to bring up as a part of today's video is going to be surrounding an Emergo specific product, aka the Yoroi Wallet. Again, they're going to be one of the first light wallets developed for Cardano. And as a part of 2024, this team is aiming to integrate more services into the Yoroi Wallet, given the fact that they've made already more than 38 integrations in 2023. Some of the latest news surrounding the Yoroi Wallet, are that there's now going to be in-wallet swaps in collaboration with the MuesliSwap team. So if you're ever on the go and you want to actually go ahead and make some token swaps, you can now do that directly in the Yoroi Wallet, again, with their partnership through MuesliSwap. On top of that, they've now also added a fiat on-ramp and off-ramp. So if you want to actually go ahead and purchase Cardano or ADA, you can do that without having to utilize some sort of centralized exchange like has been done in the past, for example, like through Coinbase or Binance. That will do it here for today's video. Again, breaking down the three founding arms or the three pioneering entities for Cardano, as well as the direction in which Emergo, one of those three pioneering entities, sees us moving into as a part of 2024. Again, very quickly to recap, we've got the Chang Hardfork, as well as the completion of the Voltaire era, bringing back the power into the community's hands. Following that, we've got the focus on RWAs, as well as third-party Dapp Development and interoperability. As always, if you guys found any portion of today's video to be helpful, I would really appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. Not only does it help to get this content out to other members within the growing Cardano community, it also lets the YouTube algorithm know that I'm doing a good job. If you want more content like this surrounding everything going on in Cardano, consider subscribing to Dapp Central. And last but not least, if you have any questions for me moving forward, right, then make sure to go ahead and leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video.